The Trump White House is speaking up about a high-profile NSA program that allows the recording of Americans' phone calls and personal messages. Dan Coats, the outgoing Director of National Intelligence, is urging Congress to reauthorize the law before it expires at the end of the year. Now, Dan Coats has confirmed that the NSA has put the program on hold. However, he says it's necessary to have the ability to get the program going again if needed.
As technology changes, our adversaries' tradecraft and communications habits will continue to evolve and adapt. In light of this dynamic environment, the administration supports reauthorization of this provision as well.
A coalition of privacy and civil liberties advocates sent a letter of their own to the U.S. House Judiciary Committee. Instead of renewing the program, they called for meaningful surveillance reform.
The government's implementation of the program further demonstrates both the privacy threats posed by the program and its lack of efficacy. It is highly concerning that it took almost 3 years to detect the fact that the NSA was collecting records even beyond the broad authorization provided under the program. The NSA should not be permitted to resume this program.
Now, the Freedom Act gives the NSA the ability to build a network with the telecommunications companies to record the phone calls and personal messages, not just of the suspects, but of anyone that they are in contact with.
I voted to allow it to proceed for debate. I will vote against it. It is better than the USA Patriot Act, but it doesn't go far enough, in my mind, in protecting our civil liberties.
We find that we're spending resources for no benefit in terms of public safety and a real cost in terms of freedom and liberty.
And this is why I voted against the Freedom Act when they said it would fix the problems inherent in the Patriot Act. Just stop spying on innocent Americans instead of trying to make it legal.
When the Freedom Act came down, it was a way to try to ease Americans and say, no, we're going to make sure we work out the kinks. But I think Americans know better than that because, and that's what Dan Coats is saying here, is that anything the NSA, and sometimes the NSA just gets surveillance information that's just hundreds and pages of nothing. And they've actually come out saying that it doesn't really help resolve or solve any terrorism or investigate terrorism activities. So because of this, though, now they can send that, or they can disseminate that information out to the CIA, to other players, to the FBI, and to people who might not have the knowledge of who really is a threat, which is going to put a lot of Americans at risk, certainly of these privacy violations. So yes, you're allowed to surveil, you're allowed to keep your country safe from terrorism, from these kinds of acts, but at the rate that it infringes on the privacy rights of people who have absolutely no known ties to terrorism, that's where it gets a little bit tricky.